with your host, Earl Burnett, a.k.a. Casual E.
Bird Gang on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Bird Gang and all fan clubs, Suns Nation, Arizona Diamondbacks Nation, any fan club out there that is for any of our Arizona teams, it is the Kazual Sportz Show here for you again on another lovely Monday night. I am Earl Burnett, my co-host, as always, the one and only Sean McConnell. What's up, man?
Woo! It is a Monday morning. It's a post-Super Bowl hangover Monday morning.
Absolutely.
Monday morning? What am I talking about? See, this is how messed up I am. It's Monday night. I'm preparing for when we go big and we get like a 8 a.m. show, you know.
You had too much intake. But this is the Kazual Sportz Show. This is the only show, the exclusive voice of the Bird Gang and all clubs around the valley. And what we do here is we get your voice out to all of the valley to hear what's going on in your club. And we also give you the scoop of what's going on in your teams, the Cardinals, Suns, etc. And, of course, you want to be in touch with this show, you can hit us up on all of our social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube page, Google, you name it. It all has the same tab, Kazual Sportz. That's Kazual with the Z at the end of sports. And, of course, you have to go to the website, www.ksrnaz.com, and subscribe, and then you will get the live feed once it hits your notification, which is probably the best way to go get the show. So we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you guys are the reason, Bird Gang, and all the fans out there. Really appreciate you, love you listening, love you keeping up with the show, and we're going to try to keep pushing it out for you guys. So another show here tonight. Let's find out what's on tap for tonight. Of course, we already know, like my man said, the hangover from the Super Bowl is still going down, and we're going to talk a little bit about our Suns and the state of our Suns as it continues. Tonight they are on the court with one of the top teams in the West, and we know how the end of that's going to look, but we'll see how they fare tonight. But we want to do a little bit talking about the Suns and, of course, Super Bowl tonight. So pretty much two topics. Unless somebody wants to hit us up on social media and give us another topic, you are more than welcome to hit us up on Facebook, Kazual Sportz, Kazual, Z at the end of sports. So what's up, man? How's the whole week going, and how'd that Super Bowl thing end for you?
Well, it ended the way I wanted it to end. I can't root for LA ever, even in an apocalypse. If it meant to save the world, I would just say it's our time to go, and I would let us lose to the aliens that come down, whatever it is. But man, it was good. My mother-in-law got me a nice fancy tequila, a sipping tequila to enjoy for that. So I was feeling just fine watching such a terrible, defensive, boring snooze fest. It was great.
Yeah,
was
you ain't lying. Snooze fest. I think I did doze off at least twice.
Right?
I dozed off twice, and this was like mid-fourth quarter. You thinking you'd be up, ready. How's this thing going to end? Nope. I kind of like dozed off. I'm like, oh. But, man, when you look at that game, I don't know if you remember going back in the neutral zone. We were talking, and when the playoffs started, and we were talking about how these high-powered offenses were going to come up against some resistance.
Yeah.
And that has played out again. And it seems to be that's going to be the way it's going to always play out, because offenses like that cannot sustain and win a championship without having some defense.
Right.
And you have to have something else in the arsenal to come up against somebody that's going to plan against what you've been doing all year long. Somebody's going to put something together, and especially Belichick. You had to know that guy had 2 weeks. Two whole weeks.
Could have given him 2 days. He still would have came up with something special.
Exactly. Now, in 2 days he'd come up with something, but in 2 weeks, man, he dissected them and put it to perfection. And it shut down that offense. And got to give him props, man. And the whole old cliche still stands: defense wins championships.
Yep.
And if you think back, all these, I think I heard this earlier, there were 8 high-powered offensive teams that were ranked like at least top 3 or top 5, and some of those have made it to the Super Bowl, but none of them have won a Super Bowl. And there's a reason for that. Defense.
The whole
wins.
playoffs could have no defense in it whatsoever, but the Super
Exactly.
Bowl is where all of that changes. Every second becomes magnified. And
Right.
once you get that into a game like that, you run into so many things, how every little thing is critical. And just like
Yep.
McVay said, he was outcoached, and it showed. It shows because you had a coach that went to 9 different Super Bowls. Belichick's been to more than 9, but with the Patriots, 9, and he
Right.
knows
Right.
exactly how this game works. And teams, especially young teams, can get caught up in all the glitz, the glamour, all the lights.
Right.
And all of a sudden you blink and you're going, what just happened? This game's over already. It's like your wedding night. It's like the fastest night of your life. You had no idea. I didn't mean it in that way, but you know what I meant.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. and then we talked about this last week a little bit, how all of the carbon copies are trying to copy McVay and all the offense and all the high-powered offense to fulfill what the league wants, all the offenses, and make it all exciting. But getting those offenses like that is only going to get you enough to get there. But
Right.
can you win it with that offense? It kind of reminds me of basketball back in the day where we used to say nobody's going to win a championship shooting threes until Golden State came along. But,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, will it ever happen? I mean, if you take Kansas City and their offense and what they've been doing all year long, do you think that offense could have gotten this Super Bowl and put up numbers the big way they've been doing all year long, or were they going to come up against a defensive team that was going to shut that down?
The problem with Kansas City was that they didn't have enough of a defensive presence. I mean, you're looking at a team in the Patriots that are every week throwing out a new scheme. They're basing it on the matchup, and they're doing so well at it that the Patriots can't seem to hang on to assistant coaches, to coordinators, to player position coaches. They can't keep them. Every year it's a new guy.
Right.
Brian Flores just now getting signed with the Dolphins. The smart move by the Dolphins, deciding to go, you know what? We're going to try and shut some of these defensive down. Hopefully it doesn't go bad for them like it did for the Cardinals, but
Right.
I digress. I would say that it is possible. I think the Chiefs could win a championship with that offense, but there's one
Right.
caveat. Brady has to retire and Belichick has to retire. Until that happens, they're going to always be the little brother, and I don't see it happening for a long time.
Tell the AFC he ain't giving it up yet.
Not yet.
Because he's hanging around till 45, and man. But
got
this
6.
this Super Bowl game just had a blah, it kind of felt to me like there was no rhythm. It felt like both teams, you know how when a game starts, the Super Bowl normally starts, and I'd say the first 3, maybe even 4 series of the game, they're filling each other out.
Right.
It felt like they were filling each other out through the whole game. It's just like I'm not sure, especially with golf. Golf he wasn't sure of what was going on.
It was like 2 teenagers in the back of a movie theater.
trying to figure it out. It's like, what the hell? It's like, okay, when is the game? Okay, when are we going to start? I thought for sure that the Rams would get going and a rhythm would start and something would get going.
And they were getting close.
Never got there, man. So, but you got to give props to Belichick and what he did to Goff. Goff, like I said, he was lost. I mean, matter of fact, both McVay and Goff were lost because when you think about it, that 15 seconds that Goff usually gets from McVay to come into the helmet and say, do so-and-so, X, Y, Z, watch this, watch that. Patriots were brilliant and did not do anything until that 15 seconds was over with. And then Goff's looking like, I can't hear anything. What do you want me to do? They both looked lost. Did you
see what, the video clip they showed of McVay getting pulled back by his assistant?
Right.
So they swapped out the face, and it was Belichick that was pulling McVay away, and every time he'd pull him away, a trophy would run by. It was too good. But what more importantly, I think, in this game that is getting a lot of national attention for sure is the running game for the Rams.
Right.
Virtually non-existent. Only 2 rushing first downs. 2.
Right. Wow.
I mean, that's not good. And total rushing yards, guess how many?
62, I believe it was.
62.
62.
Off of 18 attempts.
What is wrong with Todd Gurley?
Well, 18 attempts too. I mean, that's on the play calling.
Right.
Why are you only running the ball 18 times with arguably the best running back in the league? you're going to throw it out there. He's one of the top 5. Why are you running the ball 18 times in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, because when you think about it, they were throwing the ball around as though they were down like 3 touchdowns.
And it wasn't
the score was only 3-3.
It wasn't like the Patriots were marching down the field every time.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, there was a video that were sarcastically documenting every play Brady had about how many tight windows he had to throw into. There were no tight windows that Brady threw into, and he was still missing some of those passes.
And when you think about it, both quarterbacks didn't play a good game.
No, not at all.
I mean, Goff was horrible, but Brady wasn't Brady. He had enough because he had Edelman one-on-one with linebackers.
And how are you not doubling Edelman?
I mean, juking him out. He was shaking double teams.
Man.
When they finally decided to double team him, he was still shaking a double team. So it's like that was their offense all day, all game long. The running game and Edelman.
And get this as well. This is another shocking stat for you. Yards per pass. Obviously, the Patriots, it's going to be short. It's 7 yards. But get this. The Rams were 4.7 yards. This is supposed to be a team that runs all over you and has the deep threat, and they couldn't get any of it.
None of it. Let's talk about Jared Goff a minute here, because I hear a lot of stuff people are talking about that he's no good and I mean, come on, give me a break, people. The kid got the team to the playoffs to a Super Bowl. You cannot just turn around and do a 180 and say he's no good. He's a sorry quarterback. I try to tell everybody he has to go learn how to win the Super Bowl, and Brady was going to teach him. And he got out there and saw the moment was way too big. Did you see the touchdown pass he should have thrown?
Oh yeah.
How late he was on that throw. I mean, Cooks is like, the hand is up. He's like,
it's time. It's time.
Yeah. And he finally throws it when he gets around the 5-yard line. That ball sailing, just waiting, and the dude had all that time to come over. McCourty had all that time to come over, and boom, breaks it up. I'm like, wow, that was the touchdown. That was probably one of the biggest plays of the game, because if they scored there, it's a totally different ball game.
Right.
But he was late on every throw mostly. The ball was coming out as a wounded duck because he was hurrying up.
Sacked 4 times.
He did not look like the same Jared Goff.
No.
Which is what all young quarterbacks do when they're learning how to win. And he got a little bit of an advantage this year because he wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
So he got an opportunity to see how to win it a little bit early now. So maybe if he gets back there again, if it happens, he may know how to kind of put that to both coach and quarterback know how to put that together. But I guess the question when you think about Jared Goff is, has he gotten down this offense thing and had reading defense? Because he's still getting McVay in his ear telling him what to do, and he hadn't quite got it yet. And you can see it on that field. Belichick was like, okay, you got a young quarterback in there. That's the weakness.
Yeah.
He attacked it.
But there's a difference between knowing how to read defenses and knowing how to read defenses in 9 Super Bowls.
Basically, yes.
And it doesn't take 9 years to get to 9 Super Bowls. I mean, ask Brady. It's been 15 going on 16 years getting into that situation. And that doesn't just come naturally. Now it's easy for Brady after all these years. It takes a long time, and you don't just get to sit and let it come to you. You have to work hard at it, and that's exactly what Brady's done. All credit to him. As much as I hate giving him the credit, he's earned every bit of it, in my opinion. Cheating aside, whatever you want to call it, but that stuff takes a lot of work reading those defenses, and Goff is definitely new to that, and that's a whole nother aspect of his game that I'm assuming, going to be taking very seriously from here on out.
It does point also to the brilliance of Belichick too, because if you're studying the New England Patriots, I'm pretty sure the Rams did. You never really seen them in zone, and so they were in and out of zone all night, in and out, and Goff could not figure out what was going on, and so that was just brilliant, because it's like, young quarterbacks, it takes them time to figure that stuff out.
Right.
So that was just if I had to put the MVP on that game, it wouldn't have been. I mean, Edelman's going to get it because offensive players always get the MVP. But if I had to put the MVP on that game, it's going to be the Patriots' offensive line and defense, because that's where the game was won.
Well, Calais Campbell was making a point on Twitter that it should have been Stephon Gilmore.
Exactly.
He had a forced fumble, interception. He was all over the place.
somebody on defense should have won the MVP because they kept a high-powered offense to 3 points and no touchdowns in a whole Super Bowl. I mean, come on. Somebody on defense is doing something right.
Do you think the NFL has to go with a offensive MVP and a defensive MVP for the Super Bowl since it's such a hyper-intense game that it's very magnified? Do you think they need to go to that?
I put that on that post from Calais Campbell when he posted. I said they have to change the rule. It's up there. If you read it, it's up there. I said they got to change the rule and give an MVP on both sides of the ball. It's only fair because the defenses never get that MVP trophy, knowing that the defense was the main reason why they won that game.
The offense was shut down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the Patriots offense didn't look like the Patriots offense.
Edelman didn't sack Goff.
Exactly. Just because Edelman could get free because they can't stay with him. Right. I mean, that's a 5-yard throw every time, and he was getting, he was getting open. But that defense balled out. Both defenses played pretty good though, because the Rams defense, after all year long, finally trying to put it together, finally came together in the playoffs, and they played pretty good. So
kudos though to the Patriots for virtually neutralizing Aaron Donald as best as they could because he's a monster. But back to the trophy thing, I would allow 2 trophies with the exception of it has to be from the winning team. This can't be a trophy just to say, this guy deserves a trophy even though the team didn't win. No, you win, you get MVPs.
No. No losers get trophies.
Right.
No. That's crazy. It has to be the winning team, and it has to be an offensive player and a defensive player. That's how they should play it.
So one thing, though, as long as you're playing the Patriots, this is what's going to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. Here we
You can't win!
I had to do it.
Yeah, that's what happens. But listen to what their coach said after the fact. I mean, McVay just, like you said earlier, he just totally told him, I got out-coached.
They did a great job. Coach Belichick did an outstanding job. There's really no other way to put it. I'm pretty numb right now, but, definitely I got out-coached, and I didn't do nearly good enough for a football team. But, the thing that's so tough about all this is that, the finality to it. Usually when you get a chance, if you go through some adversity, you can bounce back right away. This one's going to stick with you and just stings in your gut. And like I said, I'm still kind of numb right now, but I have so much love for these players and these coaches. And that's where, it really, it eats at you because you feel like you didn't do your part to help them, achieve success. But one of the things that you can't say enough about is just the resolve of this football team. I love the way they continue to compete. I love these players and coaches, and that's the motivation to go back to work and try to do right for them.
He did get out coached. I mean,
absolutely.
That's without question. Because I didn't see anything, and I said this last week. Teams that are playing the New England Patriots are not taking away things that the New England Patriots do well.
Right.
Why is it so hard? It's really hard because timing on those throws, the ball comes out so fast, the routes are so short. I mean, it's like, how do you stop that? And so he got out coached. And if there was anybody that got exploited in that game was the guard, the Rams' right guard. Oh, that guy had a bad night.
A really bad night.
He had a rough night. I mean, all the pressure was coming off of him. The running game was going. I mean, everything. So
yeah,
Belichick just dissected them and put them to sleep early. It was over with. They didn't know what was going on, and the no adjustments that were made that made any difference. It's unbelievable. So,
and that's the thing with McVay, though, is just like Goff has to find his experience reading the defense, McVay is going to end up finding experience from this.
Absolutely.
And I don't think this is their only Super Bowl. I don't think they're going back next year. I think there'll be a little bit of a regression, but I think ultimately they'll be back in 2 years, and it'll be a much different team. Brady might not be there. We don't know how long he's really going to be there, but it might be a different team by then, and I do see the Rams potentially, if they keep their core, winning a Super Bowl, as much as I hate to say it, but it's one of those things just like Seattle. They found a way to break through that wall. And this is a young enough team where they can break through this wall, especially when they're going to hit their primes. I don't see them missing out many times.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's going to be kind of difficult for them next year is to keep that defense together. Because remember, a lot of those guys came in there on a 1-year deal, and a lot of money was paid to a lot of those guys. I don't think they can keep every last one of those guys.
No, they can't keep every last one of them. And I think where you're going to end up shedding some of that weight is probably from the defensive side, the side that was supposed to be balling out all year long, all season long, and they hadn't. And so I think what the GM is going to be seeing is that they can win by just playing offense, especially in the NFC West right now where there's a lot of question marks.
Right.
So
right.
I think they do let a couple of those guys go, probably in the secondary. Maybe Sue doesn't come back. If
Right,
is he a 1-year deal, Sue? I think he might not come back.
Sue, Peters,
Peters
Talib,
will
all
probably
those
come back.
guys.
Talib will probably go. I could
Yeah.
see this defense looking way different, but the offense majority staying the same.
Yeah, that's cool. So, one more thing. Let's talk about real quick. Do we see another dynasty like this in our lifetime with the New England Patriots?
For like a 3-3, because I mean it's not really six in like a 7-year span. It's like 3 and then a couple years and then 3 again.
No, but we're talking 9 out of 13 trips to an AFC Championship game. They get 9 Super Bowl appearances. That is unheard of.
I don't think you're going to see this.
Who beat them the years they didn't go?
You had the Ravens, you had Pittsburgh, and you had Denver.
That's it, right?
Denver.
Oh, Denver. There you go. Yeah. Peyton,
and maybe the Colts when Peyton was with the Colts once.
Right. Okay. So
that was like early on.
Will we ever see that again? No.
I don't. In football, I don't think you're going to see that again. At least for maybe another 20, 30 years. It's not going to be in the near future. I think it's more likely that we're seeing it now with Golden State in the NBA. I don't think you're going to see it as much in baseball. There's too many. It's a way long season. A lot can happen.
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing it now in basketball, but you're not going to see it for a long time in the NFL. It's such a hard thing to do. And when this era of Patriot football is gone, it's going to be, wow, that really was a lot of hard work. And it's crazy that they were able to do this thing, because right now we're all in it and we're just like, oh, this is disgusting. I can't believe that we're seeing this over and over again. and we're sick of it, right? I mean, we're sick of seeing the same teams in the championship games. We're sick of seeing Boston versus LA every year. And it's going to be one of those things I think a lot of people are going to really be eye open to when that era is over.
And then you have to learn at the same time. You gotta appreciate too. Because I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Brady and Belichick, you gotta give them props for this whole the longevity of how they've kept this thing together. And not only that, with the same 2 clogs, Brady and Belichick, all the turnover from all the different running backs, all the different receivers, and all the team itself. Yeah. And still just put pieces in to do one job, and they go and get the job done. That to me, that is incredible. And I'm wondering why we don't copy that instead of let's just copy the big offenses and the next thing that's coming. And why won't we copy that? Because the trophy needs to be changed from Lombardi to the Belichick.
To Belichick.
I'm telling you, this guy has cemented himself as the number one, the best coach ever. I mean,
is there a name for the Coach of the Year trophy? Is it just Coach of the Year?
It's just Coach of the Year, and I believe that.
Well, that could be where you name it.
Nagy got it, but
that could be what you name the trophy. It could be the Belichick Coach of the Year trophy.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's good.
Because they're not going to change Lombardi. Not over anyone's life. They're not going to change that. But
you never know, man. We've seen a lot of change. We got Roger Goodell up there. He might just do anything to bow down to Belichick and then from all the stuff he just put them
bow
through.
Down is not what I would call it.
Uh-oh. One quick note. The game was a sleeper. And if you're a defensive guy, you loved it and it was cool, whatever, but it was a sleeper. But the most exciting thing about that game for me that kept me on my feet all night was the man in the booth, Tony Romo. That boy got broadcasted down to a science.
It's like he finally found his career path.
Yeah, it's like this. I was like, this dude he is exciting in that booth, man. He just brings another level of excitement. And as boring as that game was, he tried his best to bring.
Oh, he was definitely the best part about the actual product on the field. Because I mean, he was even walking all over Nance, but it was great. It was just because everything he would say was true. Exactly. Everything he's like, this is exactly what's going to happen, and it would happen. This is exactly the penalty, and it was the penalty. And he'd tell you how many yards it was.
I'm going, wait a minute. Somebody should have hired Romo as one of these new coaches that everybody wants the clean-cut new guy coming. He could be one of these coaches.
He's very well spoken. He very well could be a coach. I don't know that I'd like to see it. I like him in the booth. He's giving a lot of info.
Yeah, we go take a quick break here, but man, I would have loved to see him. He's going to be a coach sometime soon. I don't think he's going to stay up there in that booth. He's got way too much knowledge in that area.
Not on CBS, at least.
Stick around, Bird Gang. It's the Kazual Sportz Show. right here on KSRN, your Kazual Sportz Radio Network. We're going to get back and we're going to talk about your State of the Suns. Stick around, Bird Game. We'll be right back.
MPX, a neighborhood joint located at 4717 East Bell Road, is not just another restaurant. It's a community partner and gathering point. At MPX, everything is made from scratch. The menu is a creative spin on traditional American classics. Every item on the menu has a story behind it. From Ashley's Biscuit Chili, Ray's Short Ribs, to the PB&J French Toast, there's a new favorite waiting for you. In addition to being the ideal neighborhood joint, MPX is committed to uplifting the community, partnering with local schools, hosting benefits, and give back. If you're looking to schedule an event, MPX, a neighborhood joint, is the perfect location to come together. And while you're there, be sure to check out the 195-inch TV. For more information, call MPX at 602-788-7134. Visit www.mpx.life. Follow us on Twitter at MPXLife. Like us on Facebook or stop in. Again, we're located at 4717 East Bell Road in Phoenix. MPX, the official neighborhood joint of the Easy Sports Talk Show. Be sure to tell a friendly and courteous staff Ed and Jim sent you.
This is Jay from The Focus with Jay Adams. I want to tell you about my friends at Majestic Services. Are you a homeowner? When was the last time you had your awnings cleaned? What about the oil stains in your driveway? Majestic Services has you covered. They're your pressure washing and window cleaning experts. With over 11 years of experience, they'll provide you with a free, no obligation quote for your awnings, patio blinds, sidewalks, garage floors, driveways, and house pads. You take care of your car by washing it, right? Well, the outside of your house gets dirty too. So whether concrete, brick, stone, asphalt, stucco, pool decks, and more, Majestic Services will remove dirt, oil, bird droppings, grease, and more. Give Matt a call at 602-881-8228. That's 602-881-8228. Commercial or residential, valley-wide. Let Majestic Services do your dirty work. 602-881-8228.
KSRN.
Exclusive voice for all fan clubs and the community.
When you ask me how I'm feeling today, my walk said it all in my sweat. Have a nice day. Can't fuck with my vibe today. I'm quick to say, go on about your way and have a nice day. Man, I ain't trying to hear your problems today. I ain't got
Welcome back to the Kazual Sportz Show. Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell.
Yeah.
And we are going to get into the state of the Phoenix Suns. Exactly.
I didn't have a soundbite for that one.
I called in on the Easy Sports Talk show this weekend and hit Jay and Ed with the we need a new GM. We need an exciting GM that's going to draw some people, draw players that want to come play here, draw players that want to come say, you know what, let's form a team over there with the GM over there. And I threw the name to them, and they were like, nah, no. I was like, Charles Barkley got to come out and do this thing for us because somebody, he's like, no, Chuck don't this, Chuck don't that. But I'm like, you know what? Everybody might be sleeping on Chuck because Chuck puts up a good front about the clowning and all the. He has to keep up that, you know, his image that he has going on right now with the TNT thing. But when it comes down to knowing the NBA, the dude knows what he's talking about half the time. He knows what he's talking about. When it comes to players, when it comes to talent evaluating, the guy knows what he's talking about. I've heard him say deals and stuff that's going down in the NBA about the business side of things and everything. Everybody's acting like he doesn't know that part of the whole game, but he does. He's just putting up on this front, putting up on this image he has to keep up. But when you bring a Chuck into the Phoenix Suns organization, man, I guarantee you there won't be no more being afraid to say, let's take a chance on so-and-so. Let's go get so-and-so. And they go get the people they need to go get and bring the fan base a little bit more attention to be focused on the fan base. And we'll get it, you never know, like I'm saying. But them guys was like, nah, that's not going to happen. No, of course it's not going to happen. But we need a guy like that, an old son somewhere to get back into this game, to start to draw some people.
All right. I'm not going to say I haven't thought about it before.
I'm sure you have.
But Chuck has even been on air saying he will not go because Sarver will not give him absolute autonomy. That's the roadblock. Some other owner comes in. Charles probably working on an owner right now as we speak, if we're being honest. He probably has an ownership group he's working on building. He might try and steal some from Magic, maybe. Who knows? But
somebody on Facebook said terrible.
That'd be my dad right there.
He said that's
Speaking
terrible.
the truth. It's terrible. But here's the thing. I'm not doubting Chuck's ability to do it. I'm doubting Sarver's ability to let him do it.
Exactly.
That has always been the problem. That will always be the problem until Robert Sarver sells the Phoenix Suns. It won't matter who the GM is. It won't matter who the coach is. It won't matter who your star player is until Robert Sarver sells the Phoenix Suns. So if Charles wants to be GM, his best bet is to get himself an ownership group together. He knows a lot of people. He can have Michael Jordan somehow bet money and take that winnings and buy the Suns because, they're buddies and they're gambling buddies, whatever it's going to take. But you look at it, I mean, of some of the greats in that era, you got Magic, you got Jordan. They're doing some GM duties. Why not Chuck?
Exactly.
I see the
why
potential.
Not for Phoenix?
I see the potential. I absolutely see it. I don't see Dan Marley being a GM.
I thought you were about to take out the guns and shoot that down like. Brrr.
No, because I've thought about it, but I already know why it won't work. It's because of Sarver.
Right.
And so, I mean, you think of other Suns greats that could be GM. I don't think Kevin Johnson's kind of that type to go in that realm. I think of Dan Marley being as a coach who should have been a Suns coach, but ultimately Sarver ruined that as well. And this is just kind of one of those things. I don't want Steve Nash stepping back into this building until Sarver's out because I don't think he wants that drama in his life. There's just not enough guys out there that are willing to take that on except for Charles Barkley. I mean, he's been open and saying that he would, but there's this problem in front of us, and it's this guy that doesn't know how to run a business.
So do you think that they stick with James Jones? He's got the interim tag now, but next year, do you think they give him the whole full job, knowing that, like you just said, he's not really in charge of this whole thing? I mean, come on. He's new in this whole thing. He's not making all of the decisions on his own. So is he going to be the man? Is he the man that's going to get them to the next level? Because to me, like I said to Jay and them, it seems like right now they are in a frozen mode where they're too afraid to make a move right now. And they make it look like, no, we're just being smart. We're not going to make a move because we don't want to make a harsh move. We don't make a fast, but I think they're just afraid to make a move right now because they know everything that they have done up to this point has pretty much failed. So they don't have any more room for mistakes. They don't have any more room to give more losing seasons and Booker get more and more frustrated and then he'd be like Anthony Davis and all these guys wanting to be pushing himself out of here.
Yeah.
So now you're thinking, they're afraid to make a move. There were several moves they could have made, but when you think about it, holding off was smart. But then for your fan base and for Booker's sake, bring somebody in with the, hey, I mean, this whole thing is about chance to begin with. Nothing's a guarantee.
Right.
So anybody you bring in here, anything you do from this point out, it's going to be chance involved in it. It's not going to be a guarantee. So you might as well go ahead and start making some moves. And we already talked about what this new move everybody's rumored about is this.
Let's not get into that right now.
Yeah. Ball is out there, and everybody thinks that that's a perfect move, but is it?
No. Let me go back to your first question.
They said no.
Let me go back to your first question. Is James Jones the man? I will say yes, he is the man, air quotes. He's the man, air quotes. He's basically the fall guy that Sarver wants, the guy that he's going to be able to tell what to do, and James Jones is going to go ahead and do what he wants him to do.
So he's not really running the whole thing.
The only way
he can't really put his input in then.
If Sarver gets rid of Jones, it tells me one simple thing. He really doesn't want to win. Now, that sounds kind of counterintuitive, having such an inexperienced GM in James Jones, because you might want to bring in an experienced GM. But it really tells you is that it's so volatile in there in the front office that nobody is safe. And if nobody is safe, no one's able to get comfortable and actually make picks and actually know whether or not to take a risk.
Right.
And now you've got James who's a little skittish on it, honestly, because he's going to take a risk, and that could be the reason why he's let go.
Yeah.
But it's because of what Sarver told him to do.
But even so, in the beginning, wasn't it bringing James Jones in because of the player relationship with players?
And how's that gone so far? All he's done is given his buddy LeBron James Tyson Chandler.
Exactly.
You're welcome, bud. There you go.
Exactly. So, like I said, credibility is everything. We know James Jones has won some championships, but James Jones was a role player on teams that had superstars.
Oh, I'm not doubting his IQ, though. He's a very smart.
Oh yeah, I'm
very
not
smart
doubting
guy.
that at all. I want to see, like you said, what he can do from his own brain. You know, because when I think about it, if he's got that, he's a ex-player, has some connections with players.
Of course.
Has some type of rapport with players. And if you give him full autonomy, let him do his thing, I'm sure he can get he can persuade some free agents to come here by who he is, because he's a player.
And this is akin to having Adrian Wilson as a scout on the Cardinals.
Exactly,
I mean, this is the same type of mantra.
But your point about Robert Sarver, that's the key, because all the free agents are going, as long as that guy's there, I'm not coming over there.
And everyone, when Ryan McDonough came in, this was the brilliant thing. This is the greatest thing that the Suns could have done, right? There were so many trades that McDonough could have had through that were very intriguing. I mean, we're talking like Kristaps Porzingis, even though I'm not a Porzingis fan because of his durability, that was on the table.
Sure was.
He had deals on the table that were going to accomplish things based on his statistics, his philosophies, and they were shot down. They weren't shot down by the president of operations. They were shot down by one man and one man only, and that's the man who can't keep his nose out of his own business.
Yeah, right. That's seems to be gonna be where we're gonna be at then. So how do we get let's talk about Devin Booker for a minute.
Oh, sorry, I just checked the score. The score's gotten worse since I checked.
Of course. I mean, I didn't even have to look at the game. We already know they're playing the Rockets. I mean, come on now.
84-68. 3 minutes left in the third.
Yeah, that's going to get more uglier than that. But, I mean, when you think about Devin and you see Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Who forcing his way out. You see Butler forced his way out. Kyrie Irving, and now you see Devin Booker having conversations with Kyrie Irving.
You've seen Kyrie trying to force his way out again.
Again, exactly. And so now you see you as an organization, you see your star player having a conversation with the guy that has done that twice, and now has made quotes that he understands why these guys are doing that and is behind these guys doing that. And so now you got to start thinking as an organization, the clock has to speed up. This little slow, methodical, let's just take our time crap has to stop.
The timer has turned into a kitchen timer, and the writing on the wall isn't writing on the wall. It's Devin Booker writing on the wall, and he's saying, hey, this is what I'm telling you.
Check it out. I mean, his quotes today may not have been saying he was going to do anything, but I think they were like a subtle way of talking to the Phoenix Suns organization. Just listen up.
But you have to move on from it. Just trying to remain positive at all times. Lead this young group the best I can. Hope we realize, how important, attention to detail is and coverages and just, the will to win. So, we need to learn that. I always say, you can't get comfortable with losing. I think we're comfortable with it right now.
Comfortable with losing.
It's not a good sign.
Man, if you busting your butt out there as a superstar, as he is, and he's trying to lead this team, and there's some flaws he has himself that's, where he has to learn how to lead a team as well. But if I'm the organization, I'm thinking, okay, the way the league is going right now, and these guys can get up at any given time. I don't care if he just signed a max deal. He can turn right around next year and do the exact same thing that these other guys are doing if you don't start showing them and giving them some type of assurance that you are all in for trying to win and bringing somebody in there to help him out.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't see it, I'm telling you, this kid looks like he's got in his eye. Hey, I can do the exact same thing and go form a team somewhere with some of these guys I'm sitting here chatting with, the Irvings and the. Not say he'll be with Kyrie Irving, but I'm just saying, just some of these guys, these star players, can go and put another big team together because it don't look like it's going to come happening in Phoenix.
And that's the thing, though, is Booker is not expecting 2 trades in a championship. He's not expecting it to work right away.
Exactly.
You know what he's looking for? He's looking for the 7th seed in the playoffs. He's looking to possibly make an upset, get to the second round, and not have to play the Warriors in the first round. That's what he's looking for. It's not unattainable.
Respect. He's looking for respect as a team because most teams, even like the Rockets tonight, I mean, they look at the Suns and go, "Oh, win on the schedule." They just look down the schedule, win, and that's what he's talking about. That respect of knowing when we come into a building, teams don't automatically write us off and know that we're not. I mean, even with their wins and the times that they play somebody that you go, "Oh, they won that game," because teams come in not expecting them to do anything and expect to run right over them, and then sometimes they'll shock you and get up and try to play you, and then you already caught behind the 8 ball and they end up beating you. But teams like the Atlanta Hawks, when you see face to face with this Suns team, and the Atlanta Hawks are that much better than your team, that's sad.
And they have virtually nobody in paper. There's virtually no one
basically at all, and it's like, and all it is effort. When you look at that Hawks team, they came on the road and just had more effort.
Right.
And it's like that's what Book is looking for. He wants this team to start to be like play with a sense of we're an NBA team. We're not a college team.
And get this right now. 8th seed, they're 29-25. They're right around 500. And you look at the Suns at 11-43. If you could just be around 500, you'd be in the mix right now.
Let me ask you this question, and this is probably going to be a question that a lot of people don't want to hear. 11-43. Do you think that Devin Booker should be better than where he is now to get that 11 win? Should be around 15, 18, close to 20, where he should be having to where he's the one that's leading them to victories. Is he able to do that? Has he been doing that? And can he continue to do that and grow to that point? Because I have not seen him basically take this team. The team is on his back because he's the only guy they have that's a superstar that's coming up.
Right.
But has he really had the team on his back and produced wins?
I would say no. I would say he's got a plateau that he has to break through. He's got a 3-year plateau that is basically the same stats all 3 years.
Right.
And the only way that I think he could break that is to play through a little bit more injury. And he's missing some games for some little things, and this is an 82-game season. You have to play the majority of those games if you're that star player. If you don't, it's a bad season. It's a lost season.
Right.
So there's be a fine line where he has to get his bodies, where he can play through certain things, play through some hamstrings, maybe a little bit of a twisted ankle, get it taped up, play. Maybe your game changes that day. Maybe you don't slash as much. Maybe you pick and pop and do more threes. Maybe you do something like that, or you distribute more. But you still have to be on the court because you're still the best guy on there. Your worst night is still better than your 6th man right now.
Exactly.
So you have to be on the court. And right now there's a dependability issue, which is another reason why I didn't want Kristaps Porzingis, because you got 2 guys that you got to depend on, and they're both missing games, and you're never going to win. It's going to be like Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady all over again. It's just not a good sign.
We can safely say that Devin hasn't reached his potential yet.
Absolutely not.
Right. Okay. So as long as that's still something open where he has some ways to go still to reach his potential, then that kind of gives me a little bit more assurance to go, okay, we just need a little bit more time. Let's put some more pieces around this kid, and then we can kind of go from there. But for him to, I'm looking at his game, and I see his game is I mean, he's got a hell of a game. The kid can ball out.
Right.
But it just seems like to me, when that 4th quarter comes around, and he's already said it in that interview, one of those interviews, he's like, when the 4th quarter comes around, when I was in Kentucky, it was like go time. You got to find a way to win the game, and you got to. But
can't do go time down 20.
Exactly.
It's got to be the first quarter.
In his head, though, he thinks I can make every shot in the 4th quarter, and I'll try to win us this game. But that could be his downfall because
there's been flashes of it.
Yeah, he has some pieces that he can utilize in that 4th quarter. Of course, when Ayton comes a little bit more of age and gets a little bit more mature and understanding where he's all about and what he can be developed into,
a little more aggressive,
that'll help him out a little bit more tremendously. But I'm saying you still have to go through those motions and give him that opportunity. Come down that fourth quarter and get into a half court and get the ball in the post and play inside to out, and rather than taking all the threes and taking all the jump shots. Because that's all this team does is they just dribble around, passing around, and a three goes up. I was watching the game the other night with my wife. I said, basketball is so soft now. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, look, just watch. And I said, I can tell you right now, we're watching this game. Watch, the next shot you're going to see go up is a three. Bam. Somebody shooting at she's like, how'd you know that? I said, here we go again. Three. Bam. I said, this is the game today. This is what the game has come down to today. I said, now look down in the paint. Look in the paint. The tall guy and the big guy down there that's doing nothing and just roaming back and forth. Post it up.
He's just getting his cardio in.
Exactly. Man, it drives me nuts.
Here's the thing, though. Okay, Suns are last in the West, right?
Right.
The NBA draft lottery is different this year. Top three picks all have an even percentage. What if I told you that the Suns were the third worst team, ended up with the first pick, and got Zion? Woo! Does that fix all your problems?
No, not instantly, but it would definitely give you some more hope.
Fixes your future for when the Warriors age out, right?
Oh, yes. It would definitely give you a little brighter future because you got to think, Aiden's going to be 2 years in. Booker's going to be another year in.
Another reason.
This freak come in.
Another reason why I don't think James Jones is in a hurry to push all the chips into the pile.
That's true. That's true. But you know what, though? Even if they don't get the number one pick and don't get Zion, there are at least 3 good players in that draft.
Yeah, you're locking in a top 3 player.
Exactly. So they have to be number 3. They have to be 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
Hopefully. So there's 3 good players that can make a difference on this team. I mean, I like the Barrett guy. That kid is amazing.
He would work too. I would take him as well.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, but here's the caveat to that. Of course, we all know another young player will be coming in. And another development, and another adding, another young piece, and it's like, where does that end at? Where does that stop?
I would take another young guy as long as you know that that's the year that Booker breaks through that ceiling.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he's going from averaging 22, 24 to averaging 35. I would take that.
Okay.
Because you've got DeAndre Ayton, who's still a double-double machine. Even in his sophomore regressing year next year, he will probably still average a double-double because that's just the type of physical athlete he is. And then you bring in a rookie who's going to bring in 10, 12 points a game. You still might have Josh Jackson, barring, Alonzo Ball trade that we'll get into the next segment. But there's a lot of pieces around there to do with.
Exactly. And you said that Booker would have to average at night 30, 35?
If he breaks through that ceiling.
I don't see him averaging that being the ball in his hands as a point guard.
No, of course not.
Just don't. So we know for sure that has to be taken care of. And now let's talk about who's going to take care of that point guard position. And so do you make the move to go get, to me, a little bit overrated Lonzo Ball? Do you make that move? Do you give up picks, and do you give up do you give up something to go get an average player?
Here's my answer to that.
You don't care where?
I don't care. We're playing Africa. We're playing on the moon. As long as both of them boys is out there balling, we'll make a new movie. Call it Ball Jam.
Ball Jam. You want Ball Jam? I don't think anyone wants Ball Jam.
Ball Jam, yeah. Well, that comes along with the ball. So, is he worth all of that? That's what I'm saying. Is he worth knowing he's going to be a distraction? Is he worth it?
He is a more distracting Kendall Marshall, in my opinion. A guy who can distribute the ball, can't shoot, can't play defense.
Right. So where's all the hype at? The hype is just because of...
You can get Kendall Marshall for a non-existent third-round pick right now if you wanted him. I mean, you just give someone a bag of chips and they'll give you Kendall Marshall.
Exactly.
You can go get him back.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's start. Where does Alonzo Ball excel in? What does he excel in? Okay, we know passing the ball.
Passing the ball. That's it.
Okay, but
leading
you and
a
I
fast
know as well as the NBA. If that's all you have as a point guard, you have no shot because they will force everything right back to that point guard having to shoot.
And it's not like you can say, "Oh, we'll just give Booker the ball in some situations," because Ball can't score. Then he's useless.
Exactly.
Why else are the Lakers trying to move him?
Is he worth you going after to get him. And if you get him and you don't give up a lot, okay, that's good. But if
What's
you
a
start
lot?
talking about giving up something, the assets that you're holding or players, now you're talking about, oh, this must be a superstar guard you're bringing in here. And I don't think he's that.
I don't want Lonzo Ball for anything more than a second-round pick and Troy Daniels.
Okay.
I don't want T.J. Warren going for Lonzo Ball.
Oh, heck no. Oh, yeah.
That's too many offensive points.
Exactly. So, but this team does need, in my opinion, the style that Ball plays. They need that type of point guard.
Sure.
A pass first that, if need be, can score.
Yeah,
now maybe Ball can get there. I don't know. Can he get there? I mean, of course, we know he hasn't reached his ceiling yet. He's going to have to learn and do things just like all the young kids that have come in have to learn.
And none of the young players ever learn under LeBron. We all know that. That's been
exactly.
documented all over his career.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, rookie, yeah, go get me my food. You're gone.
And that in alone is an obstacle. So maybe take that obstacle out, that pressure out of it, and he might be able to relax a little bit more and be himself. Who knows?
Man, I just got to say, I'm beat up about these Suns. I am.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Hey, who isn't, man? Everybody's beat up about it. And it's like, how it's not going anywhere overnight. We know that.
No.
But you get a kid like that Zion.
That could change some things.
That could, man. That's going to change how defenses have to play you. That's going to change. It's going to change. I mean, if Ayton, man, if Ayton starts to play like we think Ayton should play, and then you got Book, and you just bring this wild kid in, that it's just.
I would be fine with Ayton averaging 18 and 12.
18 and 10 and 12, exactly.
He doesn't have to do much more than that.
And he's better than that, but
of
still.
Of course.
And this team, how this team is constructed, and let me say this. How their coach is constructed is why Ayton is where he is now as well.
Could be.
Because this guy burns me up sometimes. I'm sitting there watching these games, and it's not about his fire and all his pattern. It kind of gets to me that Euro style of basketball is being brought to this Suns team. And the Euro style of basketball usually comes with a little passive.
That belongs in Dallas right now.
Huh?
It belongs in Dallas, that type of coach.
Basically. Exactly. That passive three-point shooting, let's not go into the paint type of style of play. And that flopping type stuff.
All right, so I got some coaching candidates for you. They both have the same last name. Pick one. Van Gundy.
Ooh.
They're both looking for jobs right now. They both know how to coach big men.
Oh, give me.
You want Stan?
The first. No.
You want Jeff?
Who?
Jeff Van Gundy?
Heck yeah, give me Jeff.
Give me 57 years old.
Yeah, but still, give me Jeff over Stan. Stan has been around, and we already know what we're going to get with him.
Well, he had Dwight Howard, so, I mean, I feel bad for him.
Give me Jeff. Jeff can maximize these players and first of all, that thing I was talking about, respect out of the gate.
It's true.
He would have it. But I don't think they're going to fire Igor. I mean, he's our coach right now, but he has to get some fire up underneath him and get some grit about him, or get something that's going to bring these players to say, we'll go fight for that guy, because they're not fighting for that guy right now.
You know what kind of attitude Igor needs?
What?
5 game, he good. 1-on-1, I'm undefeated. Never lost.
Never lost. He needs that attitude right there.
Can you imagine him trying to control that?
No, he would just let him coach. Go ahead. Come on, Dad. Come coach.
Let's let LeVar Ball go ahead and control team.
LeVar wants to run triangle. Okay, let's do it.
Exactly. Can you imagine that mess? Okay, the Lakers had LeBron and Magic to shut that dude down, to shut him up. You haven't heard a word.
Shut him up with money. You know that.
Single word out of LeVar Ball until now. His son's talking about getting traded. Now he ain't got an answer to the Lakers now. As soon as he go to that next home, his opened up for business again.
That's for sure, man. It's going to be a long season.
If he does come here, can you imagine Igor having to deal with that?
I just can't wait till you interview LeVar.
Exactly.
Can't wait for that one. This will be prime time.
You know it. You know it's going to happen. He's going to talk his way into it at some point.
Oh, he's going to have his face replacing our logo or something. It's going to be his face instead of your face.
Oh, man. Unbelievable. But, yeah, this team has a long haul, man. I'm hoping. I mean, sometimes things can happen where you make one good move and it clicks everything together, and boom, next thing you know, you're a competing. Hey, a surprise team just showed up. But we haven't. When you think about it, you would think we'd have that with Ayton being the number 1 pick. The defensive players out that Mikel is and Oubre are right now.
Those are going to be some great role players. Game. Great role players right there.
I mean, excellent role players to the point where, your job is to defend that person, and they can get it done.
This is the problem for the Suns organization right now, is they're in this kind of weird limbo where they have a lot going for them for the future. Obviously, the stadium's going to start getting rebuilt. There's going to be renovations. There's going to be new, young core talent that are starting to mold together at the right times. Right. But there is this overwhelming presence of the fans that have gone so many years without success. That is this driving force for hit the button, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. Right. And they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. And it's just kind of like this pressure cooker. And eventually something's going to give way, whether it's the core all of a sudden hitting that next level, or it's going to be them pushing the button and ending up with I don't know, Michael Beasley for no reason. Right? I mean, just like we did 5 years ago. Exactly.
Oh man, it's a scary time for Phoenix sports. Period. I mean, all these choices and all these people that are in charge of making the choices just haven't gotten it done. It's like we're right. I mean, look at the Diamondbacks. We don't. What kind of team they gonna put on the diamond this year?
Jake Lamb and Archie Bradley. Thank you very much.
Huh?
Jake Lamb and Archie Bradley.
Jake Lamb and Archie.
They're gonna win us all 80 games. Yep, all of them.
Man, I don't know, man. It's amazing. This our sports, man. We are down in the dumps right now. How bad can it get?
It can get worse.
I think we are at the lowest of the low right now.
Lowest it's been in a long time.
Yeah, really low. I just hope Booker can keep the chatter away from his ears for a while and let this thing do its thing for at least another year or two and see where he ends up. Because like I said, a lot of that is him having to develop as well. So
I see him honoring at least 3 to 4 years of that extension. I see him honoring that.
So? 3 to 4 years? You think so?
I think he's that type where he's going to be a lot more loyal than people are expecting of him. Mm-hmm. I think he looks up to Larry Fitzgerald and how he's gone through his career. I think in year 5, if we're still in the same boat, which knowing Sarver, we very well could be, but in year 5, I think it would be when he starts to get a lot more public and a lot more blatant about what he wants to do.
Right. Here's a better question for you. What do you think the market is right now if Booker was to say, I want out right now? Do you think he'd get a whole lot of takers?
I think there'd be a lot of bites. I think there would be a lot of bites, but I don't know that it would be this giant haul. It wouldn't be an Anthony Davis trade type haul. I think it would be, all right, we'll take him and we'll give you, 2 rookies and 2 first-round draft picks or something like that, something where it's like built on potential because he still hasn't hit that ceiling. Whereas Anthony Davis, you know what you're getting with him now.
It's not that giant marquee name that just automatically radar go up, oh, we got to get that guy.
Right. It's more of like, oh, he's the missing piece.
It's like, oh, he's available? Oh, okay. It's like that rather than
he's the missing piece for your
championship
dude. I mean, you put him on Boston, all of a sudden it's this. Yeah, they're complete.
Right.
They have everything they need. They have every tool.
Exactly. So,
man,
when you think about it, we got the pieces here. They're just young.
Yep.
The pieces are too young to even figure it out and know what they're doing. Like, and a losing culture is hard to break, man. I can attest to that. I played high school ball. And all 3 years we sucked, and all 3 years we just had this mentality that we knew when we walked in the gym, oh, we can't beat them. I'm not saying nobody said that because you just like when you get on the court, it just plays out that way.
You're doing layups and they're all dunking in warm-ups, and you're like, well,
doing things where you drop your hands, you drop your head like, oh, there we go again. It's just certain things you see that this team is doing that's hard to break, man.
Yeah.
And the only way to break that is to get a guy in here, like I keep saying, that's got some credibility that'll say, if your hands go down, your ass go on the bench. Period. And you got to have a guy that can have that kind of control. So Igor does not have that. I'm sorry, I don't see it. But
not yet, at least.
Exactly. But this has been another edition of the Kazual Sportz Show. Another Monday night has come to an end. And what the heck are we going to talk about next week? It looks
more
like
Suns
Cardinals draft
losses.
pick maybe starts, the combine. I don't know. But we'll definitely have something for you, Bird Gang. KSRN, Kazual Sports Radio Network. Go to our website, www.ksrnaz.com, and subscribe to the page.
Podcasts.
And the podcast.
Spotify, Apple, Google,
Apple,
Mixcloud.
Android, Spotify.
Instaface.
It's out there. Keep it going, Bird Gang. All the listening and all the subscribing and everything you guys are doing. You're just making this a better avenue for all of the fans to start to hitting this up at some point. So we appreciate you. We'll catch you next week. And you know what we like to do? We gone.
We gone.
Peace.